Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the PlotCast. I'm your host, Nate Slater.
And I'm Chris Sandbrook, and today we're going to be reviewing the very first episode of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
So, folks, Game of Thrones has finally come back. Not House of the Dragon, but A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which deals with Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg, a little
Egg.
miscreant. A little, yes, a little egg. Because he's bald. It makes sense, right? But first, before we go any further, I want to say a few things. One, Chris, welcome back. We missed you last week. Round of applause.
Yeah.
We missed you. I held it down. I was a little scared. I don't know if you saw to the end of the video. I just felt like I felt lost without you. But I love
Yeah,
you.
I
I'm
bring a
glad.
lot to the podcast, I could
Yes, you
tell.
do. You bring a lot more hair than I do. That's for sure. Not much more, but a lot. And second of all, spoiler warning. So, like I said, we are talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which takes place 100 years after House of the Dragon and 100 years before Game of Thrones. And it's very different kind of show. It's very more lighthearted from what I was thinking it was gonna be, which I feel like we kind of need right now with Game of Thrones because when House of the Dragon season 3 comes, it's gonna be very heavy. And I'm not talking about just like weight. I'm talking about, stakes, action scenes, deaths. We're gonna have a lot of brutality that, some people might not be able to deal with. But this show I feel like it's gonna have
There'll
some of
still
that.
be quite a bit of brutality. As someone who's read the book and know what's coming, or at least the first of the books.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
I just feel like this one is gonna be more not family friendly, but more, a lot kinder to people's hearts. We're probably not gonna see
yeah,
either one of these two people die,
it
at least in
is
this season.
a lot slower and grounded than the other books. I mean, I guess technically House of the Dragon, the book it's based off of is very slow too, but that's just the way it's written. It's more factual than
Yeah.
anything. But with this one, you just follow Dunk and you're in his head, and he doesn't really talk too much. Obviously, that's adjusted for the show, so that you're not just hearing voices in his head. He's actually voicing it out. But it's just one of those things that has to be done for the transition from book to screen. So far, it's relatively on par. I mean, they cut quite a bit. They decided to use more comedy flashbacks, make it fast and quick witted in a sense instead of showing things as they happen. Um, they start off with the death of a knight, and they don't really show Dunk get knighted, which I feel like is probably a good move because it makes the viewers also question if he's telling the truth or not.
Yeah, I mean,
Because in the book, it does happen.
he does seem
Yeah.
very, like, honest and to a
Yes.
fault.
Yes, he is actually very much so.
Yeah.
He does do quite a bit of lying too, but it's kind of, just to keep going kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, uh, a major spoiler, just so that people understand what we're talking about, is Egg is Aegon Targaryen. So him being a squire to Dunk, obviously is a major part of the plot later.
I mean, I feel
But
like it's gonna be a problem later too.
yes and no. Not real. It's not
Okay.
necessarily a problem for Dunk, as it is more just a sudden revelation. It's more of a problem for Egg than anything, and that's
Okay.
only because his brothers are his brothers, and that's what we're gonna be looking forward to, is seeing his brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I think it was very obvious that his brother was the one in the tavern at the beginning of the show. I mean, at least that's who I believed it was. It was one of his
yeah,
brothers.
they didn't exactly say, so I couldn't tell you if that's true or not until
But
we
he
get
did use,
names.
well, I think it was heavily implied. I mean, it makes sense that all the gold would have, the dragon on it from their sigil.
the reason Egg has a shaved head is to hide the fact that he is a Targaryen.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, he's obviously ran away, and is hiding out, but still very close to home. Uh, so it's just it's one of those things that I don't want to really give too many spoilers for two
Okay.
reasons. One, it could be different when we get there. And for two, if it is exactly the same, I don't want to spoil things for people. It is I really enjoyed the book. Um it was one of the easier Game of Thrones books to get through. And I feel like it could translate pretty well on screen
I mean,
because
I
it's not all over the place.
I mean, I do feel like the hardest book for George R. Martin to get through is The Winds of Winter. That's what I feel
Yes,
like is the
yeah,
hardest one.
no, very much so.
I mean, his answer really it makes sense because it's just he's just getting kind of bored of it. You know, he's been doing it. It's like one of those things. You've done it so long, you're like, okay, I'm getting tired of it. But he knows he has to finish it, so he's just
Yeah,
taking his time,
yeah.
which I understand.
It may very well even be finished and going through the editing process because that alone takes a long time.
Yeah,
But we won't know until it's available for pre-order.
in 20 years.
So, yeah, in 20 years. Um, but yeah, as far as the show is concerned, I enjoy where it's going. There are some differences here and there. We've got the Baratheons taking a much sooner introduction than in the book. Um, we wouldn't have seen them. I mean, we would have seen them, but we wouldn't have had interactions between Dunk and the Baratheons until a little later. They also kind of forced Egg in a little more. He does keep pushing him away for a while. For the most part, it is pretty consistent with the book so far.
Yeah, one thing I liked about it, I did like, the Baratheon, I think
Lionel
it was
Baratheon.
Lionel Baratheon. I
Yeah.
did like him because I liked the whole scene. He's just like, "What did you bring for me?" And Duncan's like, "What?" Because he doesn't know
Yeah.
that you're supposed to kinda pay tribute
Yeah,
to
that
your
is
lord.
something that happens. Yeah. Yeah. And it is funny. He ends up kind of being a benefactor for him, um helping him out. It they did I'm sure you heard, but they explained kind of the rules of the tourney. You will win the armor and equipment of the person you beat.
And defeat, yeah,
You can get it back with a ransom, which basically is just buying it back.
yeah,
um which is how our main character obviously will get his armor set.
yeah,
um and he currently has a shield that is also damaged, and he will also have another main character come in with the repair of that shield, which when it gets repaired is kind of significant. um Outside of that, though, as far as the beginning of the tourney and what to expect, uh, you're gonna see a lot of cruel characters. Some
okay,
people go to tourneys because they want to kill.
yeah, and to satisfy that bloodlust.
It's not just bloodlust, it's more of domination over allies even.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, no, it's something that kind of will learn more about this phase of Targaryen. And because like I've noticed that they try to show the Targaryens as crazy and mad quite a bit, but in the lore, there's a lot of peace that
yeah,
they go through with Targaryens. But they have chosen yet again to give us a little taste of the mad Targaryen blood. So we will have fun with that.
okay. I mean, Aegon doesn't seem like he would hurt a fly, which is great. It's nice to see
Yeah.
a real nice Targaryen aside from Jon Snow. Um,
And his oldest brother, the king to be, is super chill too.
okay.
Uh, so that there's hope in that, but those who know.
If you don't know, you will know. You'll find out it's Game of Thrones. Not everything goes the way everybody wants it to. I
Yeah.
mean,
Um, but yeah, so there's plenty to look forward to. How many episodes did they say they were
there
gonna do?
6 episodes per season. For this first season has 6 episodes. They're all the first episode was, I think, gonna be the longest. It was 42 minutes, and I think all the other ones are around 30, between 30 and 40 minutes. So
Okay, yeah, I can
it's
see how it's gonna kind of work together as it kind of piles on. Um, yeah, no, I think that it should have a good flow based on that,
yeah.
and kind of where we already are in the book. I mean, obviously, there's things that they're gonna cut, there's things that they're gonna change. I don't know if they're gonna change things for shock value or if they're just gonna change things to be more accommodating to the media, that they're, the way they're filming.
Yeah.
So, there are those things that I'm gonna look out for. Um, but it's pretty on par right now. The beginning usually is. I mean, I remember the first season of Game of Thrones was damn near word for word with the first book. They were very accurate with that first season, and then it went crazy.
Went way
Uh,
off the rails.
it really did. So you know, uh, we'll see how that really goes. Um, the book was very chill and enjoyable. So if they do stick to their guns and keep it the same, then we will still again get a chill and enjoyable show.
This show feels more like a heroic journey rather than chaos that
Yeah,
comes
the
from
focus
inbreeding
of
and
this
battle
book,
between families and
yeah,
houses.
the focus of this book isn't necessarily to show any games or thrones other than the tourney. The tourney is a
Yeah.
game, but its focus is the relationship between Dunk and Egg.
Yeah.
I think that's why they brought Egg in earlier so we could really see him in the first episode. Um, to kind of set the pace for the show, which is perfectly fine. I,
Yeah.
I I don't really have any problem with that. I knew there were going to be changes, and if most of the changes are only in the first episode, then that would be great.
I wanna touch on some things that I liked about it because this is not gonna be a super long podcast. We're just giving our general thoughts on the episode and where we think, it might land in the tiers of greatness in the Game of Thrones, mythos, if you will, at least the media live action version of it. I like I said earlier, I liked when he went to go see Lionel Baratheon, he's in his tent, and he's there just going, "Oh, yeah, well, what did you bring for me?" And he's confused because, this is his first time doing this on his own, he doesn't know, and he's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "Supper?" He's like, "He's here to eat."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, realistically, he didn't know why he was there. He was brought in there by the squire that he was
Right.
really nice to, so he's just like, "Food, I don't know, no," and then, I think it was just because of how real and green, Lionel took Duncan for. He's just like, "Let me have fun with this guy. Let me see what I can do with him,"
Yeah.
and maybe it's turning into a friendship of
Yes.
sorts.
Despite the fact that it's a little different the way that their relationship starts, it is still the way that it's built. I like it. There's chemistry between the actors. It feels like they're building a rather real or realistic friendship,
Yeah,
especially considering their differences in station. Um, and it's making Lionel out to be much nicer than he is.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, to me, I really think or thought in that whole episode that Lionel was just drunk, and that's how he is when he's drunk, and when he's not drunk, he's totally different person, so I'm interested to seeing if that's
He
true.
he is still an authority figure. He's a lord. So there is that to consider. So his public setting may be different. He may still have but I feel like they're building this relationship with Dunk to be more real.
Okay.
And he does get rather close to Dunk. So
Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice to see how they want to really develop that, or if they want to just kind of stick to the book, or how they're going to go about it. That would be fun.
Yeah, and I do like the relationship that's forming between Dunk and Egg also. It's just Aegon just seems like a very curious kid, and that's obviously why he was at where he
Yeah,
was at because he just you're stuck in a castle all day. What is there to do? You're pampered your whole life. You want to go do something. You want to have adventure. So to me it
yeah.
seems like that's what he's looking for, and he sees this guy that, you know, mistakes him for a
Yeah,
commoner, and he's just like, "I'll roll with it."
he is the youngest. He has 3 older brothers, so it makes sense for him to kinda just go off and do his own thing, because they get more attention and they're more important.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, yeah, no, I will say they made him a whole lot more quippy than he is in the
Yeah.
book, which, it's a show. It's, that we're gonna be expecting dialogue that keeps people interested and stuff like that. So I can see why. It may not even stick. Who knows? We'll see as it all progresses. Um, but yes, they did kind of make it obvious, and I feel like you might have seen that it was obvious that he comes from, if not royalty, nobility. The way he talks,
Yeah, he's very even the
careful
way
with his words.
yeah, and the way you see Dunk talk to him, even he kinda has this bewildered look on his face like, "Nobody talks to me like this," kinda thing, and I think that's what Egg likes. He likes that he's being treated as an individual rather than, "Oh my god, lord, oh, yeah, whatever you want." I
Yeah,
think
I
he
think
likes
the
that.
most obvious, kind of point to it was when he said, "Oh, if you wanna take me home, we're gonna have to go all the way to King's Landing." He
Yeah,
goes, "Oh, you're from Flea Bottom," and he goes, "No."
yeah,
He goes, "Yeah, right."
yeah.
I think that was kind of the most obvious kind of,
Hint.
hint that,
Yeah.
he's more than he seems.
And I feel like he's having the same relationship with Lionel as well. It's kinda like the same thing,
Yeah,
obviously different because one's a kid and one's an adult, but I like where it's going, I like the actors, I like how like you said, the chemistry's there, like, we at least with these 3 actors here, I see it
yeah.
and they're working off each other very well.
Yeah, and so far, they're the only real main characters we've seen. Everyone else is kind of very
Yeah.
secondary.
One thing I would like to get information on, as we know, as we get closer to Game of Thrones, dragons are dying off. I want to really see like what the dragons of that time look like, even though they're gonna be, small.
Yeah, they are not going to be used very often,
Okay, I
if at
didn't think
all.
so.
I feel like if they truly go overboard with it, it's just going to be them having fun and going off script kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Is there anything you'd like to see out of this? Because you have read the first book.
Uh Honestly, as long as the main plot stays the same, I'd like that. I like kind of the way they built it and the way that he works his way to the top. Dunk works his
Yeah.
way to the top. Um, kind of builds himself a reputation. So it was done really well in the book, and unless they find a better way to do it, I really don't think there should be changes.
Okay. And the other thing I want to say is that you and I had a discussion because Chris kind of filled me in on like the backstory to this, and I said it reminds me of something else that I've seen. I don't want us to go into that until we do our final review of the season to see how they handle the story. So
Yes.
look forward to us talking about that when we do the final review of this and or our final thoughts and the grade we give it or the rating we give it. But that's going to be an interesting topic. Obviously, it will be a lot longer than this episode. But I do wanna, like, just give that little nugget out there that this not this, but the movie definitely copied a lot off of the book. So, when I say movie, the movie that we're talking about has nothing to do with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So, but, other than that, Like I said, I really want to see at least some inkling of dragons. We did get a little like puppet show kind of thing, and possibly in my mind, like a possible love interest for Dunk or something like that that they were hinting at. It might not be anything. Who knows? Chris knows probably, but I don't
Yeah.
want him to spoil it for anybody or myself. So I know too much already. I don't want to know, but I know, but uh I just want this to be really good. I said I like how it's more lighthearted and less heavy than the two other shows, which I feel like we kind of need. And I know that they are apparently moving forward with the Arya Stark sequel, so that'll be interesting. Although
Ah, yes.
I'd prefer to have Jon Snow sequel, but then again, reading off of what they had planned for it, I'm glad they didn't do it because it sounded just like what's the point? And that's probably why they're going with Arya, which they could always double back to bringing Jon Snow in that at some point if they wanted to. But I have a feeling that's definitely just going to be Arya going west of Westeros because nobody knows what's over there.
Yeah, they gives up them free reign with the story.
Yeah, they could do
Um,
anything and not ruin George R.R. Martin's main stories like they already did.
right.
Like I said, I have a feeling that's why Winds of Winter is taking so long because I feel that originally how we saw it is kind of how he planned it, and then when he saw the reaction, he was probably like, "Ah, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
let's
do that
rewrite
no
it.
more.
Yeah.
Let's rewrite it. Let's just throw this out. Half the book's gone. He's rewriting most of it. So who knows when that will come out? That's pretty much it for what I have to say on that. You got anything, Chris?
No, keep tuned. If you're fans, I feel like you will be satisfied by the end, assuming that it sticks to the source material, which so far pretty good.
Yeah,
All right.
I do enjoy the comedy that they have to it. Like I said, it's a much more feels like a much more lighter show. But I definitely want to see some of that action to come back. So hopefully we get it. Pretty sure we
Well,
will.
with the tourney coming, there's going to be a lot of fighting.
All right. So I good, good. More bloodshed. Arr, men stuff. um. So that said, we are Plot Hole Productions, and you have just watched the latest episode of the Plotcast. You can find us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, and if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, let us know your thoughts on this. And once again, I'm your host, Nate Slater,
And I'm Chris Sandberg, and we'll catch you in the
in the
void.
void.